Capital expenditure is very important for the growth of a country. The infrastructure which is developed is through these capital expenditure. And Government of India has been putting a lot of money in capital expenditure, and we as Indian citizens should be very carefully looking into these capital expenditure, where the money is going, and is the money grounded. So the point here is that we need to be wary of the quality of the capital expenditure. Now, if we look closely on the kind of capex which is happening, so yes, we are having a budget of nearly 115 billion dollars of capital expenditure this year. Last year it was also near to this number. So we have a high commitment on capital expenditure, nearly 20 to 25% of the budget, total budgetary allocation. So that's a good percentage to start with. Now, looking into the quality or the markup of this capital expenditure. So capital expenditure is normally of two types. One is the equity infusion from the union government to various building of capex through state agencies and central government agencies. And secondly, it is through loans and advances. Now, these two components are there. So if we see over the recent years, the trend of this bifurcation, how the numbers are changing in these, we understand that equity infusion, the component is nearly 80% of the total capex allocation, capex outlay, and 20% is the loans and advances, which was earlier, it used to be nearly 10% a couple of years back. So it has been gradually increasing. Now it's important to understand that in loans and advances, some of capital expenditure which are attached to states adhering to the requirements of that particular project, and in fact implementation of those projects, and putting in their own money and everything, putting in place. So those components may not materialize on ground at times, and there the real capex expenditure may not be happening, because the grounding of the projects are not happening in many of the cases. However, when it is going, the other section of the loans and advances are something which is tagged to the state adhering to the reforms and everything. So their money is going in terms of loans to the state government, state bodies, and other agencies for infrastructure setup. So that's important to understand the mix of money, how it is going, equity and loan, and how some of the money, some of the capex may not be grounded in terms of implementation of the project. So that is something where we are losing. Secondly, if we see the sectoral difference also, so some of the sectors, so infrastructure, traditional sectors, roads, railways and others, may have not seen much heavy increase in capex outlay if we compare to the last year. Nearly 8 to 10%, the standard increase. But yes, some sectors are there like telecommunication and others where we have seen a good increase, a sharp increase of capex outlay. Nearly $2 billion the capex outlay for telecommunication. And some other sectors also, we have seen increase in capex outlay. But some sectors such as Department of Food processing. So here, food and public distribution. So in this department, a very high amount of capex outlay of nearly 50,000 crore rupees has been allocated to supposedly the FCI, Food Corporation of India, which will further procure food grains from this money. That may happen, and later on this money may be adjusted outside the capex outlay. So putting that amount in the capex at this point of time may also, it has to be seen whether it's the right understanding of that money going in the infrastructure building, or it's going for as a subsidy and consumption. So from these perspective, it's important to understand what is the quality of capital expenditure being done by the union government, and whether these projects are being executed on ground. So what is the money being utilized, and what is the efficiency with which these capex are getting into ground and impacting the GDP. So from that perspective also, it's very important to assess the capex outlay. Thank you.